Hi everybody, this is Agnes from Sediment, and today let's talk about 5 wines that can age beautifully without leaving you broke. This video was inspired by one of my recent videos where I tasted a 100-year-old wine. I will leave the link below. And many of you commented that you cannot afford to drink aged wines. Well, my 100-year-old Boal Madeira was definitely an extravagant purchase. The truth is, there are wines that age beautifully, yet for some reason they do not get the hype. And the good thing is that their prices remain reasonable. What is even more exciting is that the regions we are going to explore are not something obscure, rare, or unknown. But let's keep this video our little secret and jump to the wines that you can actually buy with age or buy and cellar without leaving you broke. When I first started to think about this topic, Muscadet was one of the first wines that popped in my mind as a great age-worthy option that will not break the bank. In fact, many white wines came to my mind, and it was actually a white wine that inspired this video, so why not start with one? Muscadet proves that you don't necessarily need elevated alcohol or élevage in oak barrels for a wine to be able to withstand test of time. These wines have high mouth-watering acidity and are aged on their lees, both of which help them stay fresh and lively for years. Some producers even age their Muscadet on lees for 10 years or more. For example, Domaine Aubourg Origine, made from 70-year-old wines and aged for 7 years under the lees, I recently found discounted under 20 euros. Can you imagine? Even after the release, these wines can be happily cellared in your wine fridge or storage for another 10 years. This wine comes from Côte de Grandlieu appellation, but there are many more great examples available from better-known Muscadet Sèvres Maine. I have mentioned Famille Lebeau in other videos, but look also for Pierre Lunot Papin and Domaine Brejeune, all great value and top quality producers. I simply could not make this video without mentioning Bordeaux. Now, for some of you, the initial reaction would be, but you promised fair prices, and I did. The problem with Bordeaux is that it is home to so many epic names that sometimes they can overshadow the actual, regular, affordable options. Well-made Bordeaux reds can easily age for 10 and more years without costing fortune. And here is where it gets interesting. We are taught to buy Bordeaux early, before it is even bottled, to get the best prices. But in reality, classic, well-made Cru Bourgeois wines from back vintage will not break the bank. In fact, if you had bought some as an investment, adding all that storage cost, you might actually lose money. But what is true though, is that these wines can age and age beautifully. I wanted to highlight Chateau Meillet as a great example, but somehow it has gained popularity and a higher price during the last few years. However, I recently tasted their 2000 vintage and it was absolutely at its peak. That said, I also enjoy Chateau de Reteux and Chateau Lestage, the latter being from Moulis-Listrac, where I have worked for 2 harvests. And if you feel that you can spare a bit more, Chateau Le Croc still offers great value. But don't forget to explore the roads less traveled, like satellite appellations Montagne Saint-Emilion, La Lande de Pomerol, as well as Fronsac. One of my favorite discoveries has been the Patage d'Eau, located closer to the ocean in Bégadan, northern Bordeaux, where the maritime influence adds a unique touch. Another absolute classic that for many of you would not be a surprising choice is Rioja. The truth is, despite constantly releasing some of the highest quality wines, the price range remains relatively low. Even certain labels from some of the top estates remain quite affordable. Think of Viña Bosconia from López de Heredia, which here in Europe sells for around 25 euros. It is usually released between 5 to 6 years of age, and you can still cellar it further if you wish to. Similarly, Remeyuri always delivers high quality and regularly spoils us with releases of back vintages. While some of their wines can be quite expensive, of course, the Remeyuri Riserva 2016, released at 8 years of age, is priced around 20 to 30 euros and for sure can age another 8 in your wine storage. And these are just well-known, loved and established names. Consider exploring options like Bodegas Ostao Reserva made from high-altitude Tempranillo, or looking beyond Tempranillo to Garnacha-based wines. A great example is Navar Sotillo Magister Bibendi, back vintages you can find for around 20 euros, and more recent vintages you can for sure cellar for another 10 years. One of true values of Rioja wines is that they are still released with quite impressive age, so it is not uncommon to buy 10-year-old wine directly from this state, therefore being truly certain about the cellaring conditions and quality of the wine. We should savor this luxury while it lasts. I suppose it might not always be the case. Another quite obvious choice, isn't it? Yet I feel I don't talk about Malbec enough. It is such a great grape variety. While it is part of the Cabernet family, Malbec actually can be very distinct in style. In a way, we are almost circling back to Bordeaux, where Malbec was once widely planted before the devastating frost of 1956 wiped out much of it. However, since then it has found its principal home in Argentina, closer to sun, and thrives there. Malbec there is responsible for great wines, full of color, packed with ripe black and blue fruits, and what I like the most, elegant hints of florals. These wines are big and opulent, but often maintain a fresh acidity-driven core, especially when sourced from higher elevation vineyards. One such wine is Amalaja Malbec, sourced from some of the highest vineyards in the world in Salta province. Great tension that will give wine a good cellaring potential. For those who prefer more power, Acheval Ferrer shines with their single vineyard Malbecs, though their Mendoza Malbec is surprisingly affordable. I have been lucky enough to taste some of their back vintages and they absolutely did not disappoint. The only two risks with Malbec are that it is quite affordable, making these wines an easy target for opening before the bottles have gathered enough dust, and they taste amazing when young as well. And with this entry, we are returning back home, Portugal. Portugal is a great place to source wines. You can have full-bodied and richly textured whites, fresh and zesty low-alcohol whites, fortified wines that can age for decades, and beautiful, lively, fruit-driven reds that can also be cellared. Today, I wanted to spotlight still red wines of Douro, one of the most breathtakingly beautiful winemaking regions of Europe, without a doubt. No one can argue about the quality of its still red wines anymore. Just look at the Decanter World Wine Awards 2024 and you have 47 Douro red wines scored 90 points and higher. These are platinums, golds and silvers we are talking about. Now, I'm not saying that all of these wines are meant for long-term cellaring. Some are just meant to be enjoyed young and while still full of fruit. However, Quinta Nova, not to be confused with Quinta do Noval, makes wines that can age beautifully, still holding fruit and structure after 10 to 15 years. Newport as a producer is always a great choice, offering both high quality and availability. You can look for more affordable labels like Redoma or splurge for higher-end labels like Charm. I also want to highlight Quinta dos Castellares. Their Reserva, priced at under 20 euros, is packed with energy needed to spend that time in the cellars for decades, offering great value and joy for years to come. Let me know in the comments what are your great value wines that can age. And while you are creating your wine collection, make sure to watch my other video about 5 essential wine storage tips.